Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I am finishing the demo for Daughter of a Scoundrel today. So get excited for it. I'm recording this after I finished the demo because I didn't record an intro properly. So let's just get into it because there's not really that much to summarize here. And enjoy. Let me know what you think of the demo. I again really love the story. Spoiler. And the art's fun, and I'm really just intrigued by how this all will go in the full game. So, get excited. All right, let's get into it. Would you mind handling the pancakes? Sure thing. Woohoo, teamwork with the cooking. I turned on the heat and began cracking the eggs in one pan and placing the strips of bacon in the other. Not long after, the lovely smell of breakfast and the familiar sizzling sound filled the kitchen. Mmm, it smells great already. We both became absorbed in our task, with him carefully adding in the right amount of ingredients into the bowl. Before he began stirring the mixture, he took off his suit jacket. I mean, it's getting hot in the kitchen. Hey, Luca, do you know where... Absolutely. Let's see. Let's see a little bit something a little bit different. All you guys are so stuffy with your suits on. I turned to ask him where I could find the plates and couldn't help but laugh as I noticed the mix he somehow managed to get on his face. Oh well. Sorry, I thought we were going in a different direction, but there is pancake mix on Luca's face. Huh? Why are you laughing? Your face. Oh, it's so cute though. Oh, cute wholesome moment. He reached up and felt the mix on his cheek, and he burst into laughter with me. I tried so hard to be careful. Here, sit still. I walked over and leaned close as I took my thumb to brush away the pancake mix from his face, needing to rub it a bit harder than usual as it didn't want to come off. There, all clean. My eyes met his with a smile, but I noticed his eyes were wide and his cheeks were red. Lol. Why is he... It was at that moment I noticed I had leaned in much too close for comfort and jumped back slightly. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. No, it's, fine. He laughed a bit awkwardly. Uh-huh. And my own cheeks went red as I quickly shuffled away. Cooking shenanigans. Anyways, where are the plates? Top left cabinet. I mumbled a thank you and went to grab the plates, and both of us continued cooking while exchanging a few pleasantries. So, how are you finding things so far? Any better than yesterday? I scowled a bit as I plated the first set of eggs and bacon. That bad, huh? Antonio and I got into a little fight. We made up, but I don't know. This place feels more like a prison than anything else. I'm sorry to hear that. I would spend some time with you today, but I know. You've got Alessio to deal with, and you haven't slept yet. That's true. You and Alessio were just out all night. Don't worry, I understand. I'll try and bring it up with him later. Or bring it up to him later. Maybe we can work something out? I don't know about that. But thank you anyways. Oh, it smells great in here. Cue Alessio. Alessio finally came back, making his presence known with a dramatic display. He rubbed his hands together excitedly as he came over and noticed we were almost finished. Almost time to eat, I see. Yeah, go have a seat. It'll be ready in no time. Walk, 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 walk. Okay. Luca and I finished setting the table so we can all sit together and eat, with Luca and Alessio sitting on the same side across from me. We all began to dig in, and Alessio moaned at the taste. Ugh, this tastes amazing. I didn't know you could cook like this. I actually prefer to bake than to cook. I felt a bit bashful of being so brazenly complimented, but that only seemed to make him continue. Beautiful and a good cook. A woman after my own heart. What a flirt. June, she's giving you a run for your money. I didn't know someone could cook better than you. He shoved another bite into his mouth as Luca gave a good-natured eye roll. I love that eye roll. It's so fun. By the way, were you guys out all night? Yeah. Why do you ask? I was just curious. Were you just drinking or something? Oh. His eyes adopted a familiar, mischievous twinkle as he smirked at me. You should know that a gentleman never tells. I sighed and rolled my eyes, beginning to push my food around with the fork. He spoke up again, this time with a more humorous tone. A bit early to be getting jealous, isn't it, doll? I just need to know what people are doing. I'm bored. No, it's not that. It's just, I don't really have anything to talk about on my own. I was hoping maybe you'd at least tell me some stories if I can't come along. Alessio observed me for a few moments, deep in thought, his face now serious, a rare sight. He finally nodded slightly and clapped his hands together. All right, I get it. You're breaking my heart with those sad eyes, so I'll give in. There's nothing I can tell you about last night, though. Honest. It's nothing for a lady to hear anyways. Is that so, Alessio? I'll mention it to Antonio today, though. See if we can get you out and about every now and again. I make no promises, though. He can be a tough man, but he's trying to do what's best for everyone. Understand? I get it. I could see Antonio's perspective. Don't need to bring it up another time, Alessio. I couldn't help but smile at him and nod excitedly. I appreciate the trying to, get her out of the house. Thank you, Alessio. I already know I can't be involved in anything dangerous, which I don't want to be, but even being able to go to the store or something with someone would be more than enough. I'll do what I can, darling. He smiled at me and continued eating, scarfing the food down with gusto. Okay, well that's good. As we all were close to finishing our meals and the boys grabbed seconds, an unfamiliar sound rang out. After a few seconds, I realized it was my new phone. Okay, fun ringtone. There was no caller ID. Okay. And it was a private number, but my curiosity got the better of me. Hello? It's Grandpa, of course. Oh, Marie, thank God you're okay. It sounds not as old, but whatever. I immediately felt my appetite diminish and become replaced with nausea and unease. Yeah. Young lady, why have you not answered me? I've been worried sick. Oh, really? You wouldn't think so, given the fact I grew up with a target painted on my back and no warning at all. Kiddo, don't be like that. No, don't start, because I don't want to hear it. When Mom and Dad died, you didn't have the decency to tell me the truth then. Oh no, God forbid. You just let me continue living in ignorance without a shred of concern for my wishes, or what would be best for me. Great points. I feel we don't know the whole story. Like, I can see why. I can see both points. Obviously, Grandpa can't. It's hard of a secret. It's like a hard secret to tell, or like at all, or like a truth to tell, because obviously there's a lot of danger involved. But also, I think she deserves to know. Like, really, I think she at least has that right. Marie, I may have not told you the truth, sure, but I have never risked your life. Well, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. At some point, Alessio must have gotten up and walked behind me, because I suddenly felt his hand pat my shoulder. I looked up and gave him a look of appreciation for his act of solidarity, and got the courage to finish the call. Look, Grandpa, I need time to process things. You have no idea what I've been feeling or going through, and I doubt you'd even be able to. I'm sure someone will tell you how I am regardless, Mr. Consigliere. I heard him sniffle on the other end of the phone, but he didn't say much else. As much as I may not like you right now, I hope you stay safe.
Anyways, I have to go. I'll talk to you when I feel up to it. Goodbye, kiddo. I love you. I bit my bottom lip as hard as I could to stop myself from giving in. This wasn't something to be taken lightly. It was a big secret, and one that could have cost me my life. The call ended without me saying another word, and Alessio patted my shoulder encouragingly. Fighting with the old man, eh? Chin up, doll. You're prettier when you smile. I'm sure things will be back to normal before you know it. I hope so. We're working as hard as we can to get you sorted. I know it might be tough to believe since you don't see it firsthand, but trust it's getting done.
Okay, thanks, Alessio, for the update on the progress of the situation.
I nodded and looked up at him with a smile as he removed his hand from my shoulder. Well, Junior, how about you and I clean up? I'm sure Miss Marie would appreciate some time to relax after cooking. Sure thing. I quickly stood up and began gathering plates, shooing them away with my hand. No, I insist. You two have been up all night. But we couldn't possibly ask you to do that after you cooked for us. You cooked too. Listen, I'll be fine. I promise. You two, on the other hand, haven't slept all night. I gave them both a smile and shooed them out of the room, and they shouted their thanks even as they were finally forced out into the hall. Now, finally, poor Luca might be able to get some sleep. I gathered up all of the plates and placed them into the sink with the rest of the dirty pans and bowls we had used earlier. I began to wash each until it was pristine, and then set it on the drying rack. I feel kind of bad for how I ended things with Grandpa, though. Was that really the right decision? The last time I ended things that way. I shook the thoughts from my head, feeling a slight headache coming on from the roller coaster of emotions I've been feeling lately. I'd love one normal day.
Crash! Crash! Did we hear that?
I jumped slightly, startled from the loud noise, and worried I had dropped a plate when I zoned out. What was that? If it wasn't me, then where did that noise come from?
Okay, gotta check. Are we on it? Are you men on the case? Because where is everyone else? What's happening? Did someone else drop something? I don't know.
I heard some more rustling down the hall, as if there was a scrap of some kind happening. Oh, a scrap, like a battle, like a tussle. As if there was a scrap of some kind happening, and I felt goosebumps rise on my arms. I crept down the hall to find the source of the noise, looking for any of the boys for help as I did. My heart dropped as I heard the muffled sounds of one or more of the boys fighting someone in the living room. I peeked into the room to assess the situation for when I needed to get help, but when I got there...
This animation's funny. Come back here, you little shit. Ren's just dodging Angelo, okay. Oh, feisty today, are we? Come catch your honor, Angelo. I don't remember what Renzo's voice was, so sorry. And maybe this time you won't fuck up. Renzo is being chased by Angelo? It seems they've gotten into some sort of fight. Some sort of fight. A fight of some kind. I placed a hand over my heart as I relaxed a bit, seeing it wasn't anything near as dangerous as I thought. Ugh, you bastard. Renzo seems to be having the time of his life, but Angelo seems legitimately mad. Maybe Ren's teasing got to him? Each time Angelo turns a corner around the couch, Ren is just a second quicker, always managing to stay out of his grasp. I hear pleas from across the room, muffled by the sheer noise of the boys screaming. Guys, please, can we just stop? You're going to upset Antonio. Ignored. Poor Luca. He never seems to catch a break. He seems to be the only one with a normal mindset, and he's the only one begging them to tone it down, while I see Alessio, not surprisingly, snicker to Leo from across the room. I don't know. I don't know why you're laughing. It's obvious if this goes any longer, Ren will be the winner. Yes, but Angelo's got a spitfire in him when you mention his honor.
I bet Angelo would just keep going until Ren runs out of breath, and then get him good. I can assure you, it won't... I can assure you, this all won't last much longer. That I can bet on. Alessio only seemed to take that as a challenge as his eyes widened in surprise before morphing into a confident smile. Oh yeah? Tell you what, if I lose, I'll get both you and Junior over there dates with some of the finest and easiest women you've ever met.
Excuse you, Alessio, very degrading towards these women. Easy could never. You could have just stopped by finest. That would have been appropriate. Not as appropriate. It'd be relatively appropriate, given your character and how you would characterize women. I'm not that surprised. Okay.
I'll have to pass. Sleaze.
Sleaze. That's right, Leonardo. You call him a sleaze. That's what he is.
Alessio seemingly ignores his insult and goes back to happily watching the two boys chase each other.
Where's Antonio? Oh, there he is. Oh, he's already there. He's just zoning out.
From across the room on the sofa, I see Antonio silently reading a book. It seems he's just tuning out everything going on. I'll have to ask him later how he does it.
Honestly, same. How do you do that? That's a trick. That's a skill you've developed, sir.
Funny to think how mere minutes ago I was hoping for people to be around more, and now I have a room full of people, except it's just chaos. I make my way around the horde of boys and trouble and sit next to Antonio. Hello. Doesn't this noise bother you?
Antonio's voice. I've made Antonio's voice relatively deep. It's like Leonardo's voice, although I don't know what I'm going for here. But anyways, let me just try.
Not particularly. I've gotten used to it over the years.
Okay, good to know.
Oh, is it always like this? More often than I'd like to admit. Antonio pinched the bridge of his nose. Oh, he's so bothered by it, and shook his head slightly as he looked at the rest of them. The only time they settle and focus is when there's work to be done. Ah, I see. Why? Does it bother you? Well, no. I'm just worried they will get hurt if this goes on any longer. Luca seems to be the only one trying to stop them. He pauses for a moment and gently closes his book.
What book were you reading? I'm curious.
Very well. I will remedy this.
Okay, thanks, Antonio.
He takes a deep breath and then...
Both of you, cut your shit, now! Okay. Immediately, the room went silent. Okay, Antonio, wield your power. Oh. Those crickets.
That is all.
Sorry, this is so giving. This is very much giving me, oldest brother vibe. These are actually, they're just all brothers, and they're just play fighting, and it's just chaos, and whatever. And Antonio is just the oldest brother, and he has to deal with it, and he's done. But he did it for Marie, which is so nice.
With that, he goes to sit back down to read his book, leaving all of us to exchange hurried looks and rush out the door. But as we all left and the doors closed, we couldn't hold back our laughter. We all poked fun at the situation for a while until we had to all go our separate ways for the evening. But it was the most fun I've had since coming here. Maybe these guys aren't so bad after all. The rest of the day had come and gone, and it was without a doubt the best day here so far. I'm not sure if they were told to, or what had possessed them to want to, but the boys were all around, basically all evening, allowing us all to have some fun and talk with one another. As I had gone to bed that night, all I could think about and hope for was another day like today, a day of peace, of relative normalcy, of fun. A day less like a prison sentence. ... Though for some reason, I found my throat unbearably dry. In the middle of the night. A humidifier's needed? Question mark. Despite how many times I've tossed and turned, I can't go back to sleep. What time is it, anyways? I yawn and slide out of bed, rubbing my still groggy and bleary eyes as I check my phone. 2 a.m., huh? I'll just have to be quiet.
Okay, we're gonna run into someone downstairs. I know it.
I begin to creep out of my room, closing my door carefully and as silently as possible, tiptoeing past all the rooms and gently descending the staircase. Eventually finding my way into the kitchen, I grabbed a glass and filled it with water, downing 2 glasses before feeling satisfied. Much better. I cover my mouth with my hand as I yawn again, the urge to crawl back into my nice, soft bed overcoming me. Creeping back down the hall, I began to hear the faint noise of someone arguing. I glanced towards where the noise was coming from, and then towards the stairs, and engaged in a mental battle with my own curiosity and my sleepiness. After a few moments, my curiosity won, and I continued my silent shamble towards the noise, getting as close as I could to make out as many words as possible. Finally, standing outside the door, I peered in carefully with my ear against the wall. All of the boys. Why aren't they asleep?
I've seen this office asset before. I love it. Okay.
Do you know how important this meeting is? How many strings we had to pull? I understand what you're saying, boss, but it's not the best idea for her to be left alone, no matter how safe she is. I agree, sir. If we want her to cooperate for her own safety, we need to ensure she's happy enough here.
No one is doubting that, but from the family's perspective...
Oh, and you care about the family's perspective. Actually, I do, you little... Hey!
Okay, we're fighting. What's happening? It's about us. It's about Marie.
Knock it the fuck off. If you want to be children, I'll treat you like children. But for now, how about you show some question mark. How about you show some fucking decorum and help me reach a solution instead of adding to my ever-growing list of problems?
Okay, Antonio.
The 2 men fell silent, hanging their heads in shame, yet their expressions still holding fury towards one another. We wouldn't all need to go, would we, sir? I suppose not. But the more the better. The Montianos never play fair, but they might have some information for us.
Do we not have other people in the mafia business to do the mafia business? I don't know. I'm obviously not privy to all those details, but you all have to go? Oh, am I gonna have to can I choose who stays with me?
For her sake, and for the sake of finding out who dares to fuck with our family, we need to take the risk in high hopes of some information. Then, how about one of us stays with her? What, like a bodyguard? Does she even really need a bodyguard?
I don't know what Renzo's voice is. I'm so sorry.
It would have to be someone we could make do without. If things get nasty, we can't let them catch us slip up. I felt myself stiffen at their words, feeling the tension rising and severity of it all dawning on me. They've not been around because they've been working hard to help me. Just like Alessio had said.
Of course they have. That's why they haven't been around. Even that's why you're bored. Which I understand, but there's like, I don't understand why they can't like give you things to do, like that you want to do to busy yourself. I don't understand. I think it's within the mafia, Ventola family mafia power to get some things to do so we can do some hobbies. Just, that's what I think. But I, again, do not know. I think this is funny.
I was too focused on my own feelings to consider maybe they were actually trying to help. I'm such an idiot. I swallowed a lump that began to form in my throat as I thought about my next course of action. I would be risking an even tighter leash if I stuck my neck out here and tried to join the conversation. But I can't just stand by and have them put themselves at risk on my behalf. They've all been good to me, for the most part, and I'd be willing to risk losing more privileges if it means less secrecy and being able to help them, even just a bit.
Ooh. Having made my mind up, we're just going, I slowly entered the room and made my presence known. If it's about me, I should be involved. Shocked. I mean, not really shocked. No one's really shocked. Antonio looks the same. Everyone's like, whoa, you're here.
All the attention suddenly fell on me, and I could hear my name being murmured in surprise by a few of them.
No, absolutely not. There is no need for you to be involved, miss. We're sorry if we woke you. Please, head to bed.
Antonio, I'm sorry, but no. My whole life, I've had things kept from me. Things that wound up with me needing to be here.
Antonio looks like his eyebrows shifted. He's like, what? Okay.
I understand I've been solely focused on my own feelings up until now, without even considering all of everyone's work and sacrifices. I won't let you all sit here and worry about me anymore. Just let me know what I need to do to make your jobs easier.
Okay, fair enough.
I refuse to make anything more complicated than it needs to be if it's as dangerous as you say. Please, if my cooperation is all I can offer, let me help.
I think that sounds pretty convincing.
Antonio and I were locked in a silent battle, neither backing down and neither looking away. He was looking for any trace of hesitation in me. If he was doing that, he wouldn't find it. He wouldn't find any. All I care about is making sure everyone can walk out of this okay. Eventually, amidst the silence, he finally gave me a solemn nod and turned his attention back to the others.
Fine. Miss Scarletta is welcome to stay. For now. Circling back to our last point, a bodyguard might be the best bet. But now, since we have our word she will cooperate with us, we might be able to make a more educated decision.
He turned to me once more, yet this time his gaze was almost softer.
I love that. If you're wondering who maybe I might pick in terms of a route first, it might be Antonio, and you'd be right. Anyways.
Forgive me for needing to bring this up, but I must ask. Do you have any idea who attacked you, or why?
No. I was at a cafe on the opposite end of town, though. The room went silent as they all exchanged serious looks with one another, and no one dared smile.
Okay, these are all their serious looks. Look at how serious they all look, it's such a serious situation, and I just want to comment on how serious they look, and I love that. I love that. They are really doing their best. They're doing their work.
It's probably as we expected then, men. Our territory borders a rival family's territory, the Montianos, led by Edgar Montiano. We've had some issues with them recently, and it seems they dragged a civilian into it. You.
They all nodded in agreement, looking irritated at the mere mention of the other family.
Ugh, not the Montianos. I know nothing about the Montianos, except they tried to attack us. I mean, most likely that's them. I mean, most likely because, like, what gave her away was the Scarletta family name. So. Also, I don't know if I said at the time, but, like, I feel like when I do go out for food or things that I just use, like, some sort of alias. Again, not that I'm, like, really... Like, obviously I'm not, like, in this world where I would need to maintain secrecy of my identity, but I think it's also just more fun to be anonymous. And like, why do people need my actual, like, my legal, like, you know, first and last name? They don't. So I just like using like a nickname, or like just a name that like is kind of just a throwaway, whether it's first or last name, for like food orders or things. Not to say that like I don't know if a lot of people do this. I'd be curious if you do. But it's kind of fun. I do it for food orders a lot. I do it for delivery or things, but it's just, I don't know. It's kind of entertaining to me, but also it's like gives me more peace of mind. Not to say that Marie, in her case, you know, should have had to think about this while she was just hanging out with her best friend Morgan, but I do think it's interesting. That was like, I mean, this is like interesting in the sense of like in this particular game, in this particular story, that's like this person heard, yes, the Scarletta family, I am probably from the Montianos, I need to get revenge. That's how like this point of conflict has come to be, and how we're here now, which is really interesting for the story build and progression and everything.
Ms.
Sorry, Antonio's voice is hard for me to get into. Okay.
Ms. I will admit, when you first came here, I was hesitant to share everything with you, especially after seeing you struggle to deal with your emotions.
Okay. Emotions that are very warranted, very valid, sir.
But my word is my bond. So, if you swear to me you'll cooperate with us and do as we say within reason, I'm willing to start from the beginning and tell you all I can.
Ooh, okay.
I met his eyes with a determined gaze and held out my right hand for him to shake. He gripped my hand firmly, his eyes never leaving mine. I swear it. If it will help to avoid losing lives, I'll do whatever you ask. For a split second, I noticed a smile, but he quickly covered it up and let go of my hand. Look at that soft smile that he has. Okay, anyways. Don't mind me being an Antonio fangirl.
Okay. When you were attacked, the consigliere, your grandfather, made a few calls, which is why you're here now. This is also why all of us are here. Being the sons of important men, we can take care of ourselves. You, however, are not accustomed to the life, though we've already discussed as much. So, the boss said to keep you here until we can get this all sorted out, and we are all going to be here until then as well. To be honest with you, we don't know how long it will take to sort things out, so we might all be in one another's company for a while. So I'm going to be living with these 6 dangerous men for an unknown amount of time?
I mean, you kind of knew that. I mean, I'm sure you're imagining more like until Grandpa comes back. But actually, now it's even longer. It could be a year. It could be longer than a year.
At least they're not all bad. It could have been a lot worse, I suppose.
Antonio cleared his throat once more to recapture my attention.
As I was saying, over the past 2 days, we've all been practically acting as your bodyguards. As long as you're with us, you're safe. Though no matter how safe a location is, there's always an underlying risk factor. We were hoping to work out a schedule of watching over you, but this meeting has made it glaringly obvious we can't function in the ways we have. Not only are you unhappy, but the method itself is flawed. Generally speaking, Leonardo was right in suggesting you have a bodyguard. It would allow us all more flexibility to work, while ensuring you have someone tending to you 24/7 and keeping you out of trouble.
Can I ask for Antonio? Sorry. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So this is where we're gonna have to choose. We get to have a bodyguard. We can have one of the 6. But I'm assuming there's no off limits. Because 1, this is a visual novel. And 2, we can only trust the 6 of you.
In other words, a designated point of contact in charge of your well-being. Someone who can always be there, even when the rest of us can't, to ensure there isn't even the slightest opportunity for failure. I nodded along as I followed what he was saying, feeling a bit anxious. I feel bad about troubling these guys, but I admit it does make me feel safer. Now, all that's left is assigning someone to said task. He looked around the room, searching for volunteers. To my surprise, they all chipped in a bit. Why don't we have Junior do it? He's not nearly as important in our daily ops. Watch it, Ren. Junior's with me. Don't go assigning him around. I doubt a regular soldati would be up to the task. Then why don't you do it? I don't mind, but I believe that I could do it.
Yeah, as if that's a good idea after what happened last time.
Ooh, what happened last time, Ren? Tell me.
Oh yeah? I don't see you ever offering yourself up to do anything that actually involves work, Ren. No wonder your brother. Hey, cut it out. Cut it out, numbnuts. We've got more pressing issues at hand, and I don't feel like listening to you catfight.
Fair, fair. Tensions and voices only rose more as they continued their futile argument, to the point it was giving me a headache, and I'm sure everyone else too. I'm sure this is where they were before I entered the room. Luca, I mean, what is Luca supposed to say? Would Luca be able to do it though, like realistically? Like skill wise? Okay, who brought that up? I think Leonardo said that. But like, if he's just a soldati, like rank doesn't only mean like rank matters because, you know, that's just how that's how structurally it is. Like some families at the top, and then there's like supporting families, and then the people in those supporting families, whatever. And not to say that Luca couldn't be like very well equipped and have the skill to like do this bodyguard business, but he's only been in the life officially. I don't know if there's more things I don't know from his backstory. He's only been in the life only like a few more months after, like more than like Marie has currently. So I honestly don't know. I mean, I still think he's going to be technically optioned. I still want to believe him, and I do think that like it'd be being Maria's bodyguard would make sense, because I feel like out of the 6 of them, they get along the most. And I can like, at least if, for example, if Antonio thinks that Lucas can be an option, then like Luca is an option. But that's what I'm thinking about. Anyways, let's continue.
Luca, who had been silently watching the whole time with his arms crossed out in front of him, leaned in to whisper to Alessio, who responded with a nod.
Junior had a good idea, so listen up.
There's no point sitting here and arguing in front of a pretty lady. All it does is make us look bad.
Okay. Leonardo nodded and cut him off with his usual, almost monotone cadence.
Let her choose. She would probably be more comfortable that way.
That's right. I love the game developer. I love your mind. I could totally see this. I love that.
Is that something she should even choose on her own? Does she even know us that well?
I know I've mostly been unavailable due to work, but
probably a good thing. Their voices all begin to mix together again, some fighting and some trying to stop the fighting, before Antonio finally got fed up and raised his voice again.
Enough! I'm sick of this, and I'm not going to stay up all night just so you girls can fight.
I don't personally love that, but you know what, whatever. I'm gonna move on. Obviously, they're not girls, they're guys, and they're all fighting. Give credit where credit's due, Antonio.
Once it was silence once more, he turned to me, his voice much more level than it was a moment ago.
Miss, I believe you've interacted with all of us at least a tiny bit. So please, pick who you feel is best or most competent. Please don't worry about us. Just choose someone you feel most comfortable or safe with, so we can ensure your cooperation.
Okay. Here's the deliberation. I already talked about Luca. I think he has the negative points of like not being alive too long. So I'm not sure about like skill and experience. Like there's just stuff he's not like been able to not been exposed to, so he doesn't know how to handle like a bunch of situations. That's his negative point. Plus point is that he and Marie are probably the closest. I would argue, from the interactions that we've seen so far in this demo. And so they would get along pretty well, as him being her bodyguard. So cool. Angelo is right. I feel like I haven't really interacted with Angelo that much. I do remember somewhat towards the beginning, like he seems nice enough. Like I just don't know much about him. There is that tension between, you know, him and Renzo, ? And I'm assuming things about his honor, like Angelo's honor, and like whether that meant like there was a shift in the capo, like who was first, who was second, who was third, and now that he's third, maybe he was second, maybe he was first, I don't know, and that's more like because of family stuff, don't know. So he's more of a big question mark to me. Alessio, I feel like Alessio could do whatever, like he seems more perfectly capable, whatever. That's a plus point for him. The negative point is that like his flirting is a bit much for me. I mean, I think he would know how to tone it down, to be honest. Like it's not like all of these men would take their jobs seriously, and I know like they would take it seriously. Sorry, I'm like talking and I'm just looking at each of these little drawings. I'm like, I'm talking like they're real people. They're real people. So his negative point is more about his like his flirtatious. He's very flirtatious, and don't know if that means like being the most comfortable, to be honest. But like he could tone it. He to some degree probably would tone it down. Who knows? And maybe it's just like whatever. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to think about impacts about like me choosing someone to be my bodyguard and what that means for their actual schedule, because that just means their only job is being my bodyguard. So my own one thought that I will just add here, Leslie would not be able to go out and do whatever at night because he'd have to like watch Marie like 24/7. So I feel kind of bad for him. But all the men would have to do that. So, you know, he's not, but I feel like Alessio might feel that a little bit more, just given that he likes to go out a bit. Okay. Leonardo, honestly, I think after Luca, I feel like Leonardo, we've spent just had a more slightly, I mean, we've all had interactions with them, but I feel like the interaction that we had with like Leonardo was a bit more, it was just like, it felt comforting. Like it feels like very reflective, like what it would be like if he was Marie's bodyguard. Like it was calm, it's cool, collected. He'll share stuff about things he's doing. I don't know much about his personality. We don't know much about that, which I guess is a negative. He seems like he would do his job. I don't even know what particular things he does as first capo son, whatever. Who knows? I also like his sweater vest, which is, you know, not really the most important criterion for choosing a bodyguard, but I like the look. So surprise, surprise. I can come back to that point in a second. Renzo, I feel like we've had a lot of interactions also. I appreciate that, like, even though he was doing it just to really spite his brother, he did help Marie, like, get, like, a journal and pens and stuff. And so she could do journaling and whatever. He's a bit mischievous, but, like, yeah, but that comment about, like, Angela's comment about him not ever offering himself up to do work is, I don't know what's the dynamic in the Ventola family when it comes to the sons. I mean, obviously, like, Antonio is the oldest brother and is the underboss, and Renzo is not, but, like, I don't know what, like, we don't know anything about, like, Renzo's aspirations or, like, goals within the family, or if he doesn't want to do this, who knows, but he's probably more than capable. He's in the Ventola family proper, so, like, whatever. Any negatives? It was just more slight personality. Like, I like that he's mischievous. I feel like he would be a good comfort fit in terms of like Luca, like Marie gets along with. She gets also along with personality-wise with Renzo. Like just what I've seen. The other three men, like Angelo, Alessio, and Leonardo, like maybe Alessio a bit more, but I don't know much about Angelo or Leonardo personality-wise. Like, except that, like, what I said earlier about Leonardo, that he's kind of calm and, like, whatever, which is good. Anyways, and then Antonio, I feel like he probably is the most competent out of all of them. I'm assuming that because he's the underboss for the entire Mafia family, and that entails a lot of responsibility, which entails a lot of, like, experience and skills to deal with said responsibilities. So like realistically, I feel like he would be, or like realistically outside of my like I think I like Antonio, like I whatever, like me personally, Marie Blue Angel likes Antonio, but like I think Antonio would probably be the most competent, and therefore I like would be the one where Marie could feel the most safe with. Comfort levels, don't know about that because Marie and Antonio have clashed. They have clashed a lot. But you know, whatever. It happens. Stubborn people. Negatives to that, other than that, is that they clash. No negatives. Okay. So if I choose based on those criteria, that will lead to one decision. I think it's more of a ranking. There's like, again, there's Leonardo and Angelo, who I really don't, mostly Angelo that I don't really know much about. I mean, not that I really know much about these men, but I know the least about Angelo, then Leonardo. And then I feel like I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I think that's, yeah, out of them, I feel like if I had to pick one based on actual competence and then like actual personality, I'd pick Antonio. Like first. If it's more of a question about personality and comfort, I would choose Luca, or I would choose Ren. Yeah. And then if I just like think aesthetically, like appearance wise, I'd probably choose Leonardo. The sweater press got me. I also love dark hair and his blue eyes. But he also gives me the sense of being cool, calm, collected, knows what he's doing, doesn't just like do a bunch of bullshit, like whatever. He just does his work, he does whatever, but I know nothing about him, so that's the thing. So I think then that means Alessio's fine. He seems like he could do his job. Again, I think it's his personality is a big negative here, that he's super flirty. And then Angelo, I don't really know. He is more of like big question mark. So that's my reasoning. Please feel free to tell me in the comments if you've gotten through my little rant, my reasoning so far about who I would choose. Tell me who you would pick. Whether that's because of personality, of competence, of like aesthetic / appearance / something else. I'd love to know. Anyways, I'm gonna save here before I make a decision because I don't know if that really does change anything. Okay.
I let his words ring in my ears as I looked across each and every one of them in the room, and they all kept their attention on me in turn. I couldn't make out all of their expressions, but what I could see in each of their eyes was burning curiosity. Each man wondering who would be chosen, for better or for worse.
Oh. I love that I went through my whole thing. I also want to add that if I made Antonio the bodyguard, then like that means he can't do a whole bunch of underboss Ventola family stuff, ? Which would kind of be bad for the mafia in general, so anyways, okay, I'm glad that Marie is having her own thing here, but that would be one negative besides they clash personality wise.
Well, Antonio seems fierce and able. An underboss would definitely be able to protect me. Despite our little tiffs, he seems to have a good head on his shoulders and generally wants to look out for mine and his men's safety. I just have to hope we don't butt heads.
You will, but you'll get used to that.
Renzo is a bit of a jokester, but he's generally good to be around and seems capable. He's also probably easy to get along with if he's willing to break the rules to make my life a bit easier. Though I wonder if that would ever go too far.
That's true. That could be a safety thing.
Leonardo is calm and calculating, but seems to have a nice side somewhere. I don't think I'd get into too much trouble around him. While I didn't get to spend as much time with him as the others, he's always been respectful, even in this meeting. He seemed to be looking out for my best interests.
That's true. He said, why don't you choose? I mean, I think Luca was going to make the point, but like, why doesn't Marie just choose? I like that. That's a good plus.
He's a bit hard to read at times, though, so I wonder if that will work out. Alessio is a bit of a flirt, never taking things too seriously, but is nice enough if you can tolerate him, it seems. While beyond brazen and a bit immature at times, he does seem to have a good side. Is that enough to put up with his impulsive whims, though? Will I end up like Luca?
That's true. I will say, I wonder if, like, game dev, if you are watching this, or anyone who knows, like, is there a recommended route? Sometimes those things are here, especially for this number of love interests, but I don't know, because, like, part of me, how I play is that, like, yes, would I choose Antonio first? Sure. Would then I choose Leonardo? Sure. Like, if it was chosen from, like, who I really want to see and who, like, I'm, like, about, then I would start with that. Start with those two. But, like, realistically, I would, like, I don't know, like, maybe Antonio would have to be safe for last because he's the underboss. And then I would go for, like, one of my second or third choices. Or even, like, go with Angelo because I know nothing about him. And honestly, I have no idea. And I don't know how much of, like, story reveals are, like, based on, like, who you choose. To, like, some degree. Like, obviously we'll get some story, but, like, how much of the story, how much of the family and the mafia structure will we see or not see because of a route? Who knows?
Luca is a really friendly guy. He acts the most normal and kind out of all of them, and he reminds me of life before everything happened. He's also the only one I'm close enough with to consider a friend. I think I can trust him, but I wonder if he would even have time, let alone be allowed to be my bodyguard, since he seems to be stuck following Alessio wherever he goes.
That's true. That's true, I didn't consider that.
Angelo's a guy who seems to be at the butt of all jokes here. He seems nice despite having a temper with the boys, and would probably be good company. He's the one I know the least about, as he makes himself scarce. What I do know, though, is I might be able to learn a thing or two by sticking around him, if I'm willing to risk his unknown chance factor. I might finally learn about what the boys hang over his head, and more. I take a deep breath, carefully thinking as I look over each one of them. One last time. I've made my decision. I choose.
Wait, this is just so funny. Wait, let me actually save it. let me just save it. If I can get to my proper, okay. Who would I actually choose? I don't know what to, like, this is just a demo, so it doesn't matter. I kind of want to know if I choose Antonio. We'll see if I can, whatever. I want to choose Antonio. I choose Antonio. But, like, that has repercussions on blah, 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 running the family business. I will know nothing. Okay, they're all in development. Okay, so it doesn't really matter because there's no, like, reactions either. So anyways, that's where my heart lies. Who would you choose to be your bodyguard? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. Thank you, game developer Snakias. Hopefully I'm saying that okay. Snakias? Like snakes? I love the demo. The demo's so fun. The story is lovely. The art's fun. I like the writing a lot. You know, the music is also fun. The backgrounds are fun. So all of this being put together makes it a really splendid demo. And I really am looking forward to the full game, which I am not sure exactly when this will be released fully. I know, obviously, sometime next year. I'm hoping in the first half of 2024, but I also don't know. Oh, there are people. Special thanks, people. I think you know, I obviously don't know like what's the intended timeline for the release of this game, but I definitely am looking forward to playing this game, and I hope you are too, because this seems like a very wonderful game, and I can't wait to try it out. And there's like 6 love interests. There's like so much story that like will be given. I guess my gallery is that. Oh, do I have more? I just have. Am I allowed? Do I get like? Is it just one? Is it just from Luca and that's it? And these are the extras. Okay, so I don't think. We didn't. Okay, we even get some with Morgan. That's fun. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the playthrough as much as I did. As you could tell, I was having a great time reasoning it out while choosing, as you could tell. And this is really interesting premise, and I love to know more. I'm really curious to see also, like, were her parents actually involved in the mafia? Did they not know? Were they only killed by affiliation? You know, we don't know anything because Grandpa hasn't told us anything, which, whatever, is fine. I'm sure we'll get to know more of that in the full game. If you haven't already liked the video, please like the video. I'd appreciate that. And if you want to see more from me, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. I am just slowly making my way through a whole bunch of visual novels that I've been meaning to get to, which includes stuff from Otome Jam earlier this year, and also some other ones that you will hopefully see in the next month as the year ends. But anyways, thank you so much for watching again. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye!